When facts meet politics, sparks fly. Watch as Rosa DeLauro calls out Pam Bondi in one of the most heated exchanges over law enforcement funding you'll ever see.
DeLauro?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick note before I get to my questions. Fentanyl seizures are down 30% compared to last year, and that data is coming from the Customs and Border Patrol, CBP. I don't make it up, but fentanyl seizures are down. At your confirmation hearing, you asserted that you will do everything in your power to prevent illegal gun runners in our country. Your budget request for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, proposes a cut of 26% below the current level. How can you justify such a massive cut without inevitably weakening ATF's ability to help our state and local law enforcement fight illegal gun trafficking? How many ATF law enforcement officers and industry operations investigators do you anticipate will be lost to attrition as a result of this funding reduction you're proposing?
So, I am a career prosecutor, and I believe in keeping America safe, making America safe. First, what we're doing is ATF is going to be brought over with DEA. Everyone knows, everyone sitting up here, guns and drugs go together. They go together. We're going to make it more efficient. What I will tell you will not be happening is ATF agents will not be knocking on the doors of legal gun owners in the middle of the night asking them about their guns. They're going to be out on the streets. If I can finish, they're going to be out on the streets.
I have three
No,
minutes.
you asked me a question.
I did, and
you asked me a question.
And you haven't
I'm gonna
answered my
it.
question.
So they're going to be out on the streets working
You haven't
hand in hand
answered
with
my question.
DEA
You
to
haven't
violate.
answered. Mr. Chairman, I'd like an answer to my question. And the question is not being answered. How many ATF law enforcement officers and industry operations investigators do you anticipate will be lost to attrition as a result of the funding reduction you are proposing? You are proposing a 26% cut to ATF for fiscal year 2026, as well as a 4.4% cut to DEA. So you're going to merge the two agencies together, and then you're going to shortchange their resources, so neither one of them will be able to do the job that they have been designed to do. You've got a 34% cut to the high-intensity drug trafficking areas program, no dedicated money at all for the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. So, my view, it's fair to say that the Trump administration proposal shortchanges federal efforts to stop illegal gun trafficking and federal efforts to stop the flow of dangerous illegal drugs like fentanyl.
As I was attempting to answer your question very calmly, unlike you,
Excuse me, Madam Attorney General. Answer yes or no. Tell me what the numbers are. I don't want to hear all of your filibuster about this. Go ahead, please. Tell us the numbers.
So we are reorganizing. ATF agents want to be out on the street.
Okay,
working
let me
with
answer the
DEA
question for you.
agents.
I'm going to answer it for you. Page. Mr. Chairman, you give me a certain amount of time, and I have a high respect for you, but I don't have to listen, nor do my colleagues have to listen to a filibuster when it's a simple question. But I have an answer to your question. It's page 146 of the department's fiscal year 2026 budget, and the performance summary explicitly says, and let me quote, ATF will eliminate 541 industry operation investigators, reducing ATF's capacity to regulate the firearms and explosive industries by approximately 40% in fiscal year 2026. ATF will perform fewer regulatory inspections. And the department summary goes on to say, and let me quote, ATF anticipates a reduction of approximately 284 support personnel and 186 agents based on historical attrition patterns, and these personnel cuts will impact ATF across various functions, unquote. If the capacity to regulate firearms industry is reduced by 40%, if you are losing 186 ATF law enforcement agents on top of that, it is clear the direction you are headed with this budget, and that's what it is, isn't it? The proposal will weaken our ability to stop gun trafficking, and it will greatly reduce ATF support for state and local law enforcement that helps them prevent and solve violent crimes. It's a bad proposal.
Do you want to hear my answer in 3 seconds? You mentioned regulatory functions. We will not be having ATF agents go to the doors of gun owners in the middle of the night asking them about their guns, period. They will be out on the streets with DEA, guns and drugs.
How many
go
are
together.
gone?
It will be attrition. We are not firing agents. They
Who are-
will be working
how
with
many have
DEA.
taken attrition?
Can I tell you that they all want to be on the streets? They want to be doing their jobs. They want to be
But you're getting
seizing
them off
guns.
the streets.
They want
You're getting
to.
them
We're
off the
putting
streets.
them on the
And-
streets.
and-
They want to be working with
you,
DEA.
you are getting them off the
will be
streets. There is no
efficient.
clear, and Mr.
We will
Chairman,
be
I yield back my
efficient.
time. I yield back my time. Let's get some answers here.
What we just witnessed was not just a clash of personalities. It was a confrontation between two very different visions of governance and accountability. Rosa DeLauro came into that exchange armed with numbers, data, and a clear message. You cannot claim to be serious about fighting gun trafficking and the fentanyl crisis while cutting funding to the very agencies tasked with addressing those issues. Her frustration wasn't just about budget lines, it was about credibility and priorities. DeLauro, a longtime appropriations powerhouse, knows exactly what those cuts translate to: fewer agents, less oversight, and ultimately weaker enforcement. She wanted specifics. How many ATF agents are you losing? Not rhetoric, not political spin, but hard facts. And Pam Bondi, representing the administration's position, responded with what she framed as efficiency, a merging of agencies, a focus on street work rather than regulatory oversight. But this is where the tension lies. What sounds like streamlining to one side can sound like gutting institutional capacity to the other. Bondi's insistence that ATF agents won't be knocking on gun owners' doors at night plays to a certain political base. It's language crafted to reassure conservative audiences that the administration isn't targeting lawful gun owners. But to DeLauro, and to anyone focused on enforcement, this sounded like a retreat from oversight, a signal that the government is stepping back from policing the illegal gun market, just when violence and trafficking demand more vigilance, not less. This exchange, beyond the heated tone, reveals something deeper, a fundamental difference in how both sides understand public safety. DeLauro views funding cuts as undermining law enforcement's ability to protect communities. Bondi frames it as an administrative reorganization, a move toward efficiency and common-sense policing. Yet the real-world impact of losing hundreds of agents and investigators is not theoretical. It affects how quickly cases are pursued, how thoroughly inspections are done, and how safe communities actually are. And when DeLauro read directly from the budget documents, page 146 no less, it underscored a key moment of accountability. She wasn't just arguing, she was showing her receipts. That's a level of detail most viewers don't see in political debates. What she exposed was a gap between political messaging and the hard math of governance. The deeper takeaway here isn't simply who won the exchange. It's what this debate says about the politicization of law enforcement resources. Whether it's guns, drugs, or border policy, every budget line carries a moral statement. What you choose to fund and what you choose to cut reflects what you value most. This is the kind of tension that defines so many hearings in Washington. Beneath the shouting, there's a quiet struggle over the machinery of government itself, how it operates, who it serves, and how accountable it remains to the people it's meant to protect. So while Bondi stood her ground, defending the administration's decision as a move toward integration and efficiency, DeLauro reminded her, and the public, that you can't claim to make America safer while stripping away the very resources needed to enforce the law. And that's the real question that lingers after the heat dies down. Is this about saving money, or is it about shifting priorities in ways that could have long-term consequences for public safety? If you found this breakdown insightful, remember, This is what Left Lens is all about, helping you cut through the noise, decode the power plays, and see the deeper story behind the politics. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep getting more sharp, humanized political analysis that helps you see the bigger picture.